unfortunately. So yeah,
All
that's the
right.
big sad Tim.
And I've got the recording starting.
Perfect. All right, guys, welcome everyone to session 5 of Tooth and Claw. Last session, we left the jungle far behind. You identified the masks, and through some very good identification and arcanum rolls, you found out exactly what the masks do. They're cursed objects that a devil of trickery is quite tied to. Um, but you uncovered some of the secrets behind that. You turned in the job to Lady Brachia. You went back to the guild. Artie showed you his upgrades to the guild hall, a blacksmithing station for Calgus, brand new rooms. He's running a bar now as a tax shelter. All in all, things were looking pretty decent. Um, and that night, Artie was drug out in front of the guild hall and excommunicated from the house of Ossie. Um, we pick up where we left off, right there.
I have one correction about that. It's not a
Yes,
guild hall. We're a bar.
yes, you are a bar.
Yeah, we're a bar.
Yep, for tax reasons, you are.
Yes, we are a bar.
Yep,
with rooms that
Yep.
people can't rent.
correct.
Yes,
The fantasy IRS would have come for your ass too.
exactly. Yeah,
But we pick up where we left off. Artie is still sobbing quietly. And Calgus, you oddly enough clocked relief.
Mhm.
But the soldiers will file away slowly. And you're left there in the rain. Artie will kind of stand up shakily, a little bit of blood dripping from his chin. And he'll turn around. He'll be like, "Well, I think we should go back inside, don't you?"
Yeah, that might be better.
Artie will kind of wordlessly head in.
They punched my roomie.
They did. Your roomie is, without another word, just gonna go back to his room, which is also your room.
Okay, good. I was gonna say he doesn't go to the basement. I swear to God.
Curls up in the fetal position and proceeds to try to sleep. But Calgus, you clock soft stopping.
Yes. I don't know how to deal with that as a person, so I'm just gonna go to sleep. I don't have
Alrighty.
the emotional capability to deal with that as Calgus, so
The night passes, everybody gains the benefits of a long rest, albeit slightly nervous one, but no more traps are triggered in the end of the night. None of these little booby traps or anybody's alarms will, Calgus.
why did I have MHP? Oh yeah, I took the shooter. That's right. Okay, I remember now.
Yep. But yeah, you guys wake up in the morning, refreshed. Artie is up early. As you wake up, there is a humble breakfast of porridge, stew, eggs, and some steak. Pretty meager fare, but not bad by any means. Lyran and Dyran are running around kind of prepping the bar for the day's events. And Artie's polishing some glasses after he serves you, and he'll be like, so there's plenty more jobs. Unless you want to take a break, you've earned it, quite frankly. You guys clock there is kind of still like a scrape where his lip was split a little bit.
What a champ. What an absolute madman.
Have I heard anything from Pirate Mommy?
You have not received any communications from Pirate Mommy.
Okay.
But you know where to find Pirate Mommy. Pirate Mommy might not have got your message quite yet.
Okay.
I would just like to start tearing through the board and looking at all the listings and stuff like that.
Sure.
See if any new ones have popped up.
By and large, they're pretty similar. Although you do notice the job for the artifact posting for the artifact is gone. There is still reports of werewolves
Werewolf.
in the jungle. Werewolf in the jungle, excuse me. The haunted house listing has since been removed. And the pirate flyer is still up, but you kind of got the down low on that a little bit.
Mhm.
But oddly enough, the Fey Portal listing is no longer up either.
Hmm.
Mm.
I don't like that.
Question, everyone.
Yes.
Could we? This is in character.
My bad.
I'm using a lower voice, Mason. Come on.
Come on, Mason.
I wonder who is taking these jobs. Because whoever these people are, they seem to be somewhat, skilled.
I'm under the.
Perhaps we have some sort of rivalry almost.
I'm under the impression that there's other guilds now, right?
Mhm.
Like,
Yep.
that was the whole conscription. I'm also in character, Mason.
No. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'm gonna go by myself.
The importance
Fuck
of
you,
having a
DM.
voice.
I'm just thinking
I-
that.
That's true.
I mean, that's what the conscription was about, I suppose. But who knows? I know you mentioned that you'd already done the ghost job, so that's why that one's down.
I have. That one was. The employers were a little bit. They fucked with me a little bit, so not a fan of them. But what I'm seeing here, I prefer to avoid the werewolf job. But yeah, what are you thinking, Vina? What are you thinking, Iris?
Iris is gonna kind of shrug and say, leaving it up to you guys. Ideally, she would have liked to go to the Fey portal, but
So the jobs that we have left: pirates, werewolf.
werewolves. Is that it?
Well, I mean, we could go to the Skyport. Because that's where we would have to go for the pirate one, right?
Mhm.
Anyway,
Yep, and that was Captain Garrick.
isn't that the one that what's her face told me to avoid?
She did. Chelsea, go ahead and give me a history check.
Because they basically just use the workers as bait. And just
Okay,
leave them
yeah,
to die.
you don't have to roll. You remember.
Okay. Okay, cool.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say if you forgot out of character, I was gonna make you roll, but yeah, you remember.
Yeah, I don't really feel like being bait at all.
But
Artie will pipe up. He's like, today is Saturday. Typically jobs are going to be posted on Mondays, so there should be a fresh listing in a couple of days. There's going to be the royal proclamation. You could go to that if you're interested. The new emperor is going to be speaking. Just an idea.
We
that a
might be
safe
throwing
place
ourselves
to
into the
be?
chaos if we go there. Yeah.
Like, yeah, is that a safe place to be?
Artie kind of pauses for a moment, and you see him just kind of like, perhaps not.
Maybe we don't want to deal with any houses at the moment if we can help it.
I'm already quite surprised that there wasn't sort of immediate rebellion. And I feel like if there were to be another one, it would be there.
Well, I think the immediate rebellion was squanched.
Well, yes,
Instantaneously.
but something more impactful to us in terms of we see people fight and die, whereas we've just seen people sad and tell us what happened.
It wouldn't surprise me if something's brewing.
But
at the same time, is it our problem?
When is the coronation again?
Meet at the end. Artie will kind of say there's no coronation. He sees the title of emperor. Typically,
The event that you said though, when was that?
Proclamation will be about 2 or 3 o'clock today.
How far away is it from us?
Yeah.
They likely will project it on some of the hollows.
Hmm.
Everybody who lives above ground, there are giant crystals called hollows. They're ancient technology that allows casters to project images that are happening in real time and are often used for royal proclamations, tax increases. They're not used all that often as they take a tremendous amount of magic to operate. But frankly speaking, in most parts of the city, you can see a hollow from somewhere.
We could
Um,
watch. We could watch from
Yeah.
one of the hollows.
Yeah, we'll see what
Um,
happens.
We don't need to
How
be
far
there.
away is the Skyport?
Skyport's going to be about a day's travel. And it's not that it's so the Skyport is directly above Moon Harbor.
Mm-hmm.
But it's far enough above and it's hard enough to get to because you have to backtrack about half a day to get to the steeps
Got
in
it.
order to get up to the Skyport. If you have a personal vessel or if you have wings, much simpler. You just done. But without those, it is kind of a pain in the ass to get up there.
We could watch the proclamation this afternoon, and kind of just chill out here, do some stuff until new jobs are posted on Monday. And in that time, would it be reasonable to think that I may hear back from, like, if she was at the port, that she would receive my message and then maybe
Yeah,
send something here,
yeah.
like, in that time?
If she was at the port, she could almost certainly send a message. V, give me an intelligence check, just a straight one.
I think I have a +1. Well, let me look. Yeah, so that's a 12.
A 12? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, a 12 is enough. V has enough self-confidence. There was kind of a moment where you're like, well, she'd have enough time to respond. And there was just kind of a moment of, right, like she would respond, right? Yeah. She would respond, V.
Okay, cool.
But additionally, as the night had gone on at the Monkey's Paw, Valencia would have been regaling you guys with stories of her exploits, and oftentimes weeks or months at a time being gone is not unheard of. Not necessarily the norm, but not certainly not something that hasn't happened before.
Okay. Well, if we're gonna wait for more job postings on Monday, I would like to start putting in my work hours, Mason.
Okay.
Yeah, I just figured we could spend the time to be doing that kind of stuff.
Or if anybody else has requests for things they need made, please let me know.
Nothing I
And
can
I will
think
do
of.
my damnedest.
Absolutely. The day goes on. Calgus, go ahead and take damn near 6 work hours. By time the royal proclamation kind of comes about, were you guys headed to the Skyport or just kind of chilling and waiting?
I think just chilling. and waiting.
Chilling.
Yeah, I'm
and
just waiting for the
Okay.
for the proclamation.
I have an idea for something.
Okay.
Okay,
What do you got, bud?
So, Calgus, I have a question.
I have an answer.
You see what I have here? It's a steak. Would you be able to make some kind of modification either to my crossbow so that this could be launched, or make a launcher of its own for a steak? I want to use this steak as a projectile.
I mean, so just as a player, kind of like a heavy crossbow, but using a stake
Yeah,
instead.
because I assume that it would not be a normal use of a crossbow, Mason. That I could just put a stake in it and it would work properly.
Okay, so That's interesting. So if you're just trying to fire a bolt without a tip, like with a hardened wooden tip, that could loosely, as a hunter, you would know that that could loosely be considered a stake. Some curses that require the stake, there's a bit of flex room. Now, if you wanted to fire a stake, like giant in diameter, that would essentially not be a heavy crossbow, it would be a great crossbow.
How strong
Essen-
are you, Nathan?
13.
13?
So I couldn't per se make something that straps to his back and fires off of his shoulder. That he could just pull and it would come up onto his shoulder and fire a massive
Okay.
bolt.
So, Calgus, give me an intelligence check. Let's call it a tinker check to figure out
Yes.
the plausibility of this.
So what's my okay? Okay, how about a 23?
23. With the 23, kind of thinking it through, making it easier to carry is probably not going to be the problem. Deploying it from the shoulder with a trigger mechanism, also not impossible, could be a little tricky. The key here is in order to fire a stake, like a large diameter stake, you can't find, there isn't a good way to negate the weight. DM to players, something that fires a stake like that diameter by probably so wide. Or Nathan, are you saying like smaller?
You're muted.
Nothing too crazy. Like yeah, literally just like this. I mean,
Bigger than a bolt, but not.
yeah, like half of the width of a normal human heart, I would say.
The width of a normal human heart. Normal
So-
human heart is 3 inches
Fist.
across, Chelsea.
Your fist.
Yeah.
Like that's certainly a few bolts put together, you know. So
Like it's like taping 4 bolts together, in a sense.
yeah,
so something
which is
larger
not what
would
I'm
do that.
thinking of.
You already use like a great crossbow, don't you, Nathan? Or a
Yeah.
heavy?
Yeah. I'm just trying to be creative.
No, you're fine. So Calgus, you could absolutely make a crossbow that would be considered a great crossbow.
Mhm.
But it'd take probably a strength of like 16 to wield.
This is too.
effectively.
We can just move on to the next thing.
But if
I don't
I
like
made a
this sound.
secure harness under his armor to distribute the body to his entire torso instead of just his shoulder,
You could presumably make it deployable. Yes,
I do have leatherwork tools. I'm proficient in leatherworking.
it would be a tinkerer check, and it'd be pretty high. But yeah, you could work on that.
Okay. I honestly, I don't need my revolvers yet. I want to spend my 6 hours to try to do that.
Okay.
to,
Give me 2 tinkering checks.
okay, just to kind of work out the problems.
Uh-huh.
So no, that's an
Okay.
8. That's a 2 plus 6.
All right.
And then 21.
21. With the 21, you realize this is probably going to take some time. You're probably going to need some exotic materials, especially some monsters, especially like monsters with gelatinous or like forms that are able to sustain large amounts of weight. So you think of gelatinous things, you think of things with carapace, just things that can sustain a lot of weight. Mithril comes to mind, but then you're like,
That's
Mithril.
expensive.
The
But
cube.
essentially, you get a rough drawing of what looks to be a Call of Duty exoskeleton, with just made of leather and fantasy materials.
Mhm.
It could work. With some exotic materials, you could 100% redistribute weight enough to allow somebody of Bud's stature to carry bigger things than he should.
Interesting. Can I give Bud a list of like things I would need for it?
Yeah, sure.
So like just the gelatinous stuff.
Yeah. Like it's a general list. It's like any of these things could work. It's more of ideas than anything.
Cool. All right, I'm happy.
All right.
I'm an artificer and I want to do artificer things. I want to make
Yeah.
things. I
Yeah,
want to do stupid shit.
100%. And I like the idea of the stake thrower.
All right, cool.
All
All
right.
right, I'm happy. I'm content.
Okay. The day rolls on. If somebody else has something they want to do, just let me know. But 3 p.m. will arrive in short order. It's just an afternoon, nothing too crazy. As 3 p.m. strikes, the hollows start whirring and buzzing and let off a very telltale like light blue glow as they start to spin up and their magical pylons start orbiting around them. Screens about the size of like think jumbotrons start appearing up around the city, projected into the air, and just kind of overall, you can kind of watch in Moon Harbor, and you assume throughout the entire city, people are kind of slowing down to see what's going on. There's been a lot of confusion the last couple of days with the new changing of hands, so any sort of clarification is kind of the populace has been wanting it for quite some time. Projected onto the screen, kind of blurry, kind of not quite pixelated, but certainly not like a clear video. A balcony that everybody would know to be the royal balcony, except maybe Calgus, comes into view. Stepping out, you guys see a beautiful black Saurian man with scaly hide, wearing a crimson tunic and a very simple black cloak. But as he kind of comes more into frame, you can see it's made of silk, which is a fairly exotic material in this part of the world. His beautiful black obsidian skin is offset by piercing green eyes. And you guys clock that he is standing about 7 to 8 feet tall, just dwarfing this balcony. On his back is a great sword with gilded handle and a beautiful silver blade. And he kind of looks noticeably absent is the crown, the emperor's crown or the empress's crown. Speaking in a low monotone voice, he says, "My name is Orion Ranos. As you know, as some of you may know, 2 nights ago, I walked into the Empress's chamber, and well, I think it's better to show you." He snaps his fingers, and you guys watch as a hulking black creature in completely black adamantine armor just dragging a body, and you just watch as the decapitated, lifeless body of the Empress is held up in one clawed hand and then chucked off the balcony to the cobbles below. There is a sickening and crunch as the body connects, and the video continues.
Yikes.
Let me be very clear. I am Emperor. You will bow to me. The houses Aussie, Alucrest, and Triceraton have all bent the knee already. Those who do not will be crushed. That is all. As the video kind of sputters out, give me a perception check, everybody. As a couple of figures are in just the very background.
Yes, interesting. Quite. Yes.
Finally, these last 2 sessions have been rolling pretty decent.
Quite.
Can't relate. Cannot relate.
Yeah, you're like the only one last session who was rolling shit.
Yeah, multiple
water.
natural ones.
Calgus, you're just kind of a little shocked. You're like, is this what the fucking overworlders do? They fucking kill their emperor and fucking throw the body? Like, what the fuck?
This is too much for me. I don't.
Yeah.
This is not. Now I know what I want.
Iris with a 13 perception. You clock the figure in the back. This hulking figure that you saw with claws and adamantine armor, trudging forward, is kind of in everybody's head, but in the back there is someone or something of similar size standing also about the height of Lord Ranos, but in gilded white armor. With a 22 perception, you also clock that one. With a 22 perception, Bud, everybody is looking at these massive figures who are just. How do I can't fucking blow out my screen. Okay. These massive figures just absolutely dwarfing not dwarfing Lord Ranos, but dwarfing the average Commodore. 7 and 8 feet is fucking tall. But as you're looking on the video screen, directly behind Lord Ranos, in kind of just a little bit of a shady corner, you see a figure that looks very diminutive and very small compared to the Ranos and his two presumably guards. In a figure in a cloak, just standing there.
Mason, if you wanted to share an image, you could put it in chat too.
Okay. Yep.
Discord chat.
I'm just trying to figure out. Timeout. I gotta. Boop. Yeah, stand by. For some reason, my
Oh. Oh.
Give me one.
I am
Just
so
what
glad.
I was just.
You captured that.
Yup. That's
Mark
perfect.
the time down.
Sana, he's sick of our shit.
That was at 27 minutes, everyone.
1930 hours. You killed the DM. You won D&D.
Guys, I have something important to say.
Oh. But yeah, you guys watch as the hollows spin down. No proclamation other than obey or face the consequences. Yes, Bud.
Would there be any chance where there could possibly be some kind of history roll where we either recognize them by appearance or by like
Name?
rumor, maybe?
Sure, give me a history roll.
Like, oh, the big guy in the adamantine armor who's 7 or 8 feet. Like, oh, there have been tales about him.
Okay, yeah.
A history check, you said?
Yeah, go ahead and give me a history check.
15. Sorry, we have a channel for this.
I'm gonna do it not at advantage unless you tell me otherwise.
God damn it!
No fiendish stuff going on here,
That's what I
Nathan.
thought.
I'm sorry. That one.
Yeah, that's
He's
I
God.
only have a +1 to history, by the way.
You say he's gone?
He's Jesus.
Mika, being not from here, it really makes sense. You're just like, yeah, no, I don't think I fucking read a history book about this guy. Like, Oberon, he's someone, but this guy, nah.
Never read a history book, period.
Ah, all right.
Never read.
Bud with an 8, you don't clock anything about the big figure in adamantine armor. As for Ranos, you studied some of the books on the major houses, but certainly probably didn't get into any of the minor houses. Calgus.
Me. I did that.
With a 15 and Vino with a 19. Vino with a 19, you know, there are some minor lords and minor houses that potentially could have been brought into a coup d'etat by potentially some of the larger houses, and then essentially scapegoated. And maybe this is a maybe this is a puppet emperor, but to rule with such tyrannical dictatorship, typically you have to be a strong emperor, and therefore a puppet emperor wouldn't work. That said, House Elocrest, House Asi, and House Triceraton are three of the most militaristic houses. So if they're propping someone up, it's going to be very hard to dispose them. So there might be something there. Calgus, interestingly enough, a little known fact that the surfacers dwellers might not know is there are Saurians who live down below. They are typically minor lords and ladies of houses that failed politically or had most of their houses killed. You have heard of House Ranos. They have a legacy as bloodthirsty and cutthroat. They ran a merchant guild for some time, but it wasn't a merchant guild that sold anything. They sold protective services. And it wasn't a matter of we'll protect you. It was a matter of we'll protect you from us.
Yes.
But the last you'd heard, that was a fairly minor house, and they're typically when people come down, they don't go back up. There's usually a reason they came down.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I would like to spend, unless there's anything else going to happen, I would like to spend my day. I would like to go find and send a message down, to my mentor. Is it?
Mhm.
I forgot how to pronounce his name for some reason. Rive? I have it written as Rive. I've already forgotten.
Rive.
That makes it so much easier. Rive. Of course it's that. I would like to send a message down to Rive to let him know and to let the family know that House Ranos has claimed the top. Be careful.
Yeah, you can very easily through your secret kind of cobalt tunnels and stuff, like go down to a sewer, slip a letter behind a cobbled rock that you know will be taken by a postal worker. Just a kobold sitting behind a wall waiting for somebody needing to send a
Mhm.
message, and he'll carry it down pretty reliably.
And then I would like to, during the proclamation, just kind of be looking at the crowd. See if there's
yeah,
anyone, a little bit of, self-preservation on my part.
sure.
essentially.
Give me a perception check.
Okay, cool.
I would like to see how Archie. I'm gonna talk to Archie after this because we need to see
Mhm.
how he's feeling about this.
If he's had any kind of experience with them.
Mm-hmm.
Did
I
you
mean,
say
because he is.
Archie?
And he's higher.
Yeah.
That's
His-
a
his-
16, by the way.
His name is Artie, but I wish
Artie.
his name was
Yeah.
Archie.
Oh, Archie. Sorry, Artie. Not
16 perception. With the 16 perception, Vina, you look out and you see some people openly weeping, some people kind of disgustedly shaking their head. There's kind of an air of shock. It's like coup d'etats are a thing. People get killed, but to throw the body of a decapitated empress, especially somebody who is as well loved as the empress, off the balcony and for such a gory display to be publicly just shown, it kind of flies in the face of do it secretly. And kind of speaks to something that, especially with some of the other more public executions, the burnings you've seen,
Mhm.
seems like these things are going to be dragged into the light as opposed to being kept in the darkness.
Mhm.
Oh.
Don't see anyone suspicious or that I feel
You don't see anyone
worried about.
You don't see anyone who's like actively like trying to like, clock you.
Mhm.
You do see one figure. Who during the entire time the proclamation is happening never once looks at the proclamation and just keeps kind of like making his way through the crowd, cloaked cowl above his head, moving quietly and quickly.
Hmm.
Nothing suspicious about that.
Mm-mm.
Oh,
I'm just
nice.
gonna kind of like just observe that person.
Okay.
You know, kind of the out of the ordinary. Just kind of keep a close eye.
You can clock them. They're not moving like at a breakneck pace, but they do. Bye, Nathan. They do cross the street, push through the crowd, and are starting to kind of round a corner and head away.
So is Artie watching the proclamation, or is he back at the
Yeah,
bar?
he'll watch it with you from the second floor of your
Mhm.
guys' guild. Excuse me, bar.
So Artie, did you didn't know anything about this or no?
Artie will kind of pause. And he'll kind of look at you a little bashfully and be like, I no, how to say this? I'm not really, I'm not really, I was never really allowed to participate in the politics of the house and know important things. I'm actually adopted. My my dad is a minor brother, or was a minor brother of Lord of Eli, and he died, and I was adopted when I was very young. They never really liked me, so they never really told me much.
That's okay. I don't really know my parents either, so. it's not a
Oh,
big deal.
he'll kind of pick up that. I'm sorry, like.
Oh, it's like a cultural thing. Like you kind of.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Everyone puts their
Oh.
eggs in one basket, and then you see what happens, kind of thing.
They put him in a basket.
Okay, that's the expression. So there's like one big nest, and everyone lays an egg, and then everyone puts the eggs, and they all get mixed up, and then everyone's family.
Okay. But and then they make a basket to put all the eggs in. That's a really large basket.
It is, yes. It could also be called a nest. Yes.
Oh. Fascinating.
Yes.
But
because of that, sometimes people don't support you as much as they should.
well, I'm sorry. But you turned out all right. You're very clever and very very capable. Certainly, I wish I was quite so capable.
I mean, you're not capable in the ways that I am, but you're capable in the ways that you are. Can't make I can't make potions.
Artie sure can.
Artie will just kind of shrug and be like, I got bored when I was young, so I studied things.
So did I, and I'm gonna pull my gun.
Artie will kind of look directly down the barrel and be like, I don't know if I've ever seen this work.
Okay, yeah, that's not a good idea though. Let's not do that.
What's wrong with it?
That's where the damage. That's where it comes out of. And it would hurt
okay.
a lot.
Oh, understood.
Incredibly so, actually. Is the point.
I see. You have never fired this near Artie.
I could show you. I want to.
Don't give Artie any ideas. I don't think we want him to know how to fire a gun.
I'm gonna take him downstairs out to the back and show him how to shoot the gun.
You guys go to
Put him down.
you guys go to the training area outside, and you watch as Artie kind of like runs into a shed and like and heaves out a training dummy that very much looks homemade. It's kind of like a milk churning bucket with like a hay body and like a bucket head.
I'm going to specifically say that I've used the force pistol, so I don't burn this thing.
Okay.
Can I disarm him?
So.
I don't want him showing Artie this shit.
Good luck.
Iris, if you want to grapple for a gun, Go ahead and give me an opposed grapple check versus Calgus. It'll be
Grapple-
athletics via athletics.
Does the gun have
Oh,
the safety? mode?
athletics?
Yeah.
Fuck.
I would also, since grapple's an attack, correct?
It is.
Interesting. So I'm defending, right?
Yeah.
You win, Brandon. Brandon, you win.
Oh, even with a 7? Oh, good.
Hold the 2 and I have no modifier.
Good. So I'm just gonna show him the hammer and then just fire it into the dummy. It's more just to like, he's not expecting the loud bang, and so that's what I'm really excited for. That's what Calgus is excited for.
Calgus, you Constitution check from Artie. You go and you line up and boom, and you see Artie kind of jump for a second and like look stunned. Give me an insight check.
Oh, that's cocked. 23.
With a 23 insight check, you watch Artie's eyes go wide. And for a moment you kind of laugh and you're like, haha, that's maybe exactly what you expected, maybe not. But then you clock what's behind the eyes, and it's a maddening look of interest. As Artie kind of goes over, digs the bullet out of the dummy's chest, and starts muttering to himself, and you hear, using explosions to project projectiles. It's fucking brilliant. It's fucking... Calgus, this is brilliant.
Damn
Do you know how many explosions I've caused accidentally?
Me
And
too.
we could
I'm
weaponize them?
gonna raise my hand up. Me too.
Oh my god, does that happen often?
No, it's once.
Once.
Yeah, it happened once.
You're aware you have 2 hands. So if it
Yes.
happens twice, you're really in trouble.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, it happened like early on.
I'm slightly less excited about this now, but still pretty interesting.
That was like the alpha version of the gun. This is like the
Mhm.
7th, 8th, 10th, 15th, probably 30th
see.
iteration.
Just curiosity, can you cause larger explosions to propel that projectile faster?
Yes, but I'm trying to figure out a way to keep the gun lightweight, but also reinforcing, because that's what happened with my first. When I lost my hand, I added too much boom and not enough support, and that really kind of backfired on me.
That makes sense. Calgus, you're just clocking like Artie is an alchemist by trade. So
Gunpowder is alchemy.
exactly, and taking things and making other things is very much what Artie fucks with. And you can kind of see some of the gears turning in his head just as he thinks of some things.
I just want to let you guys know, Artie and I share a bedroom, and we're both mad scientists.
I hate it here.
Wait, no, you are literally Frank and Charlie. It's
Um,
always
as-
sunny. That's all it is.
As he
True,
does that,
true.
Artie is going to go into the shed. He's going to grab a couple handfuls of things. You see him go downstairs and come up with a bunch of beakers and stuff. And you see him take a glass jar, fill it full of nails, and then start adding a couple of just
like to be
beakers
there
and
with him.
potions. And you
I'm
just
there
watch
with
him shake it up and toss it in the air. And then kind of right as he does it, he looks at you and he's like, "Oh, we are standing way too close."
Did
I'm
you
gonna
just
step
make
in-
a grenade?
I'm gonna step in front of him and be prepared to cast shield.
Calgus, you cast shield as an IED detonates on the dummy. Shrapnel nails going everywhere. Just gonna roll a luck check. Everybody is actually fine. Artie didn't fill it with too many nails. It seems like more of a proof of concept as opposed to a thing he was really trying to do. And he'll kind of like excitedly start muttering to himself, and he's like, that substance is so volatile that if it crashes or if it gets shook too much, it blows up. But in a pinch, we could.
I'm
in a
gonna sit
pinch,
him
we could
down.
make these and just throw them, and if we reinforce the front of the guild hall, nobody can fuck with us.
You've
Hey.
corrupted him.
And I'm gonna crack open one of the bullets to show the gunpowder on the inside too. And start explaining him the gunpowder.
Sounds good. You give me.
We're gonna go. We're gonna go.
Give me an intelligence check as you're giving Artie a crash course in ballistics, firearms, and gunpowder.
19.
19. Okay. Artie is gonna give an intelligence check with advantage. Artie largely seems to be clocking this, and you guys can take the better part of the afternoon and evening and just kind of talk mad sciencey shit. There is multiple times he like goes down to the basement and comes back with beakers and vials, and you guys just kind of experiment long into the night. Not really making anything too productive, but reveling in the madness of creation and science.
Yes. The proof of concept.
Correct.
And I'm just happy because nobody's been as ambitious as I am.
Anybody who is
comes to
watching this
testing.
exchange, Calgus, you don't get to make one. Anybody who's watching this exchange, give me a perception check.
My mortal enemy. Are you shitting me?
He said perception.
That's what I
right?
rolled.
Not one.
You guys are doing great.
This is gonna be a fun night.
It's okay. Get the bad rolls out of the way. This is the way.
I think you need a dice jail.
I
Okay.
literally switched my dice too, because I'm like, maybe it's
Chelsea
the
is-
dice. No.
Not natural. Okay, that is what I needed. Iris.
Yes.
Iris, you're kind of sitting there and you're just like, at one point you're like, fuck, I'm running a little low. And as Artie kind of like passes you, just a little health potion, appears. And you're just kind of sitting there and, doing your thing, just, Buffalo Soldier.
Vibing.
Just vibing. But you're kind of enjoying this, and at some point it occurs to you, you're like, what if I put an explosive on a crossbow?
Wait.
Yes, Iris.
Oh, sorry. Did he? So he gave me a health potion. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Lovely.
Vina. As you're kind of clocking this, it's a very cute encounter. Absolutely. The boys are getting excited over boy toys. As you watch Artie, like, you see him like running downstairs, running back upstairs with beakers and vials and stuff. Him huffing and puffing and excitedly just kind of like carrying his like all his chemistry equipment up to like the upstairs and up to like the outdoor area. Like the outdoor area looks like a fucking disaster zone between Calgus and Artie's workspaces. There's still enough area to physically train and do stuff, but Calgus's workstation and a little workbench that Artie has expanded significantly. But as you notice Artie running back and forth, up and down, every single time, no matter how excited he is, he stops when he comes upstairs, pauses, carefully shuts the door behind him, and then takes off sprinting again. And that is only the basement door he is doing that with. Every other door he's like busting through with his arm, and like there's even been a couple of times Calgus where Artie's like kicked open a door and it's like,
Good.
You can do that? Like,
He's
because there's
strong.
stuff he doesn't want disturbed down there.
Roll me an insight check.
It's a sex dungeon. Leave it alone.
This is where the alcohol is. He doesn't want the
Insight?
alcohol to came
You
down.
said
Yep.
insight?
Insight.
I'm good at that. 21.
21. With a 21V, you know, and having called it exactly, you know there is probably something downstairs Artie does not want other people to see.
I am going to, as I'm gonna kind of try to clock when Artie is like really engrossed in what he's doing with Calgus.
Absolutely not hard at all. He's 100% not paying attention.
But then I know that he's not gonna run down and grab more stuff. That it seems like he's like got a project he's working on that he won't like. You know what I mean?
Sure. At a certain point in the night, with Calgus, Artie, and Bud all kind of standing over a crossbow bolt, you can see that Artie's talking about using some of slimes that occur naturally, and their viscous ooze can be very sticky and act like a glue-like substance. And especially if you superheat it, it can catch fire and it acts like an incendiary that burns for a long period of time and like sticks to people and like causes globs to like stick to them.
Napalm. We just made
Yeah.
napalm.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
god, we just made napalm.
I was gonna say it's gonna be put in a jar.
Oh,
Like,
no.
So you guys try to put it in a jar.
no,
Bud, give
I'm
me
leaving.
a tinkering check, Bud. Intelligence
I'm
roll, and if you
leaving.
have proficiency in tinkering tools, go ahead.
I
And
just
do
want
that.
to say this now. When I say we made napalm, we made napalm in D&D, in D&D, in D&D, FBI, in D&D.
Vina, just kind of
The
knowing the
chemistry
mad
teacher here.
dashes and stuff. Artie came up with like a ton of like beakers and stuff, and he's been like replacing them periodically. But with the amount he came up with and how excited he is over slime napalm,
Okay.
you got some time.
Okay, cool. I'm absolutely sneaking downstairs.
Cool. Give me a sleight of hand check. It's a very heavy basement door.
Oh,
If we could
doors
figure
are the
out a
true enemy
way.
of human
If you'd like to give me a
beings.
stealth check.
As well.
No, if you'd like to get your choice, sleight of hand or stealth.
If we could figure out a way to
They're the same.
contain
Okay.
the
Which
napalm,
one are you rolling? Because
you could dip it in your arrows, Nathan.
I think I'm gonna do sleight of hand because of how careful he was with the door. I also
Sure.
want to be careful
Oh, they're
with the door.
bolts, by the way.
absolutely, I
Both.
think that makes a lot of sense.
What's your
I
right
have
damage?
arrows.
Nathan.
1d4.
Oh, what type? Sorry.
What'd you roll, Chels?
I rolled
they're
a
radiant or fire.
natural 20. So
Natural 20. With a natural 20, I'm gonna say that goes ahead and takes care of your stealth check as well.
sick.
As you're kind of like doing it, you clock Lyron and Dyron rocking around the bar and stuff, and between Artie and those two, you're able to quickly sneak. You try the door for a second, realize it's locked, whip a pick out of your cloak, quickly trip the lock, open the door, just fucking smooth operator glide into the basement. You walk down a set of cobblestone stairs, all the way into the basement. It's cooler down here. You notice sacks of potatoes, carrots, vegetables. There's a nice little wine rack. In the center of the room, you notice a safe, and you notice. Give me a perception check.
This dice, I'm telling you, I rolled a 19, so that's 21.
Holy shit. Perception of 21. You see the dirt is disturbed a little bit by the safe. And you can kind of make out a bedroll. Seems like this is probably where Artie was sleeping. As you do that with a 21 perception, you also notice some of the dials, like some of the numbers on the safe, are a little smoother than they should be.
Mhm.
Immediately you clock the combo to the safe.
Sick. I'm opening that safe.
All right. Very quickly.
Checking for traps first, and then opening the safe.
Sure. With a 21 perception, you
Okay.
check for traps, and you're like, I would trap this in you would probably trap this in a couple different ways. There are no traps on the
Sick.
safe.
Cool.
The safe is bolted into the cobblestone floor, which looks like it was somehow alchemically welded here, like bolted and welded. So it'd be very hard to get up, but with very deft fingers and your keen eye, you're able to, and the safe swings open. You open it up and you find a couple bags of gold on the top shelf. you kind of clock it to be about 600 gold. There's a little ledger next to it that says payment for adventuring services and kind of a little memo. There is below it a ledger, just some paperwork, but it looks like some costs and some like some income and some outcome papers.
Mhm.
And you also notice there's a lot of space in this safe. And it looks like there may have used to been possessions in here, but largely there is nothing now.
He probably sold them.
As you look at the ledger, you notice there are several lines where it's like fine clothing, signet ring, gold ring, pendant, and just kind of going down, you realize that Artie probably sold most of his royal attire and all of his expensive stuff to front money for the guild. And as you're kind of going through these papers, you realize the 600 gold about that he has in the top shelf is for when adventurers complete their quests, he can pay them immediately rather than waiting for the quest giver to pay him and then pay them from that amount. So he's able to more quickly distribute the funds for jobs done. V, give me an insight check.
I swear to you, I'm
Okay.
serious.
Okay.
So how it happens is Michaela rolls dog
Yeah.
shit.
And Chelsea takes
like
that good juju.
I
Mhm.
promise.
This
Okay.
is the balance of the forces.
It's
Listen,
the
I'm
gambler.
rolling
It's the
multiple
gambler
natural
balance.
ones as
Chel-
easily as possible.
Chelsea, I deeply trust everyone at this table. I'm not too worried about it.
Okay,
But
okay,
that
that's
is
a nat
that
20.
that is kind of nutty. I
I
figured
know.
by this reaction. Yeah, with a nat
24, if that matters.
24, that does actually matter, and that's good.
Okay.
With a nat 20, you kind of pour over these ledgers very quick. V, you are not somebody who is financially incompetent. You are actually financially incredibly savvy. So you are able to kind of like suss out there's Artie has put money into different investment firms. He's put money into a couple different businesses as long-term investments for long-term like dividends and stuff like
Mhm.
that to create passive income for this place.
Mhm.
He assigned all the papers in the name of the guild. His name appears on some things where it needs to be as a guild leader, but in no place other than that. He's basically ceded all the property to the guild. That being said, as you're kind of looking through, you realize Artie did sell literally everything he owned, including his carriage and his horses, to front the money for this place and to repair it. But as you're looking at these numbers, something doesn't add up. Horse and carriage, yeah, they're expensive. But like, refitting a bar is expensive, but it's not crazy expensive. And there's several points where you're looking at the ledger and Artie's accounting for the glyphs of warding. He's accounting for the amount of money he's put into stuff. And by and large, the ledger looks pretty balanced. But with your nat 20, it is not perfectly balanced. There is about 5,000 gold missing from these calculations.
In what direction?
It would put the guild in the negative, but Artie has gold in the safe that is marked surplus.
Okay. So, did he steal gold from the family?
House of Ozzy.
Yeah, and that's why
With a nat 20 perception check, you start poring over the details a little more. It's building materials. It's very mundane stuff, but it's been upcharged and there's been too many of them ordered. Additionally, you notice Artie was in a sleeping bag. And there are 5 feather beds upstairs. The ledger says he ordered 6.
Okay.
Additionally, as you kind of go down that road, there were 6 vanities ordered. 6 dressers ordered. 6. Pretty much all the stuff that was put upstairs.
There's someone living in the walls.
V, with that realization, go ahead and give me a perception check with advantage.
Oh god. Oh god, I'm scared. Okay. Okay. I think I have a +2. I have to double check here. Yes. So that will be a 12.
A 12. With a 12, you do not immediately see anything. There's the room. There is, as you peek behind some potatoes and carrots, you see a vast collection in like cupboards of alchemical potions and bottles and stuff like that. And large swaths are missing. With a 12 perception, V, you're very confident you're missing something. It's not that you're stupid, and it's not that you're not perceptive. It's something is being willfully hidden.
Okay. Could I use... Could I cast Detect Magic?
You can absolutely cast Detect Magic. You cast Detect Magic. How does Detect Magic manifest for you, V?
I would say, my eyes, kind of go, like, kind of cloud over, like, this white, like, cloudy, yeah, and, like, that I'm able to,
Spooky.
yeah, spooky,
Okay.
like, really creepy.
Your eyes kind of
Mm-hmm.
and cloud over, giving way to pearly white void. As you cast Detect Magic, you see, as you scan the room, there's a door that wasn't there before.
Heck yeah.
Approaching it, you see that with your Detect Magic, you can see it quite clearly. There's a little plaque that says Artie's Space. It's a locked door, and it's just kind of a ramshackle little wooden door.
It's locked.
It is locked.
Can I check for traps?
Yeah, go ahead, check for traps.
I don't like the tone that you just used. Is that,
If you think you can find them.
what role would that be?
So, unless you want to do a different roll and you can justify it to me,
Okay.
give me a perception check. But there are other ways to check for traps. If you want to like flex your dexterity and like throw a bunch of pebbles, if you wanted to,
Could I use insight into thinking about like where I would put traps? Like,
I'd say that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
That's cocked. That rolled into the exact same spot. Okay, there we go. It was literally cocked.
Are you
twice.
shitting me?
I'm not joking. I have not touched it. It was literally cocked because it rolled like next to my keyboard and like was in a weird corner twice. And so then I rolled in a different direction and it rolled to a 20. I am seriously, it doesn't even sound real.
It's all right.
Alive
It's
people
right.
upstairs. I can't even have
Some
him
of that luck.
Get that good luck out of the way. That's what I love. Chelsea, with a nat 20,
God.
you kind of pause as you test the door, and you're like, this door was concealed magically. I had to use Detect Magic. There is most likely some sort of like sense dampening magic on this door, so it makes sense that it's magically enchanted and maybe defended. And as you're kind of thinking about reading Artie's ledgers and stuff, he's very organized and he's very meticulous.
Mhm.
So if you were going to put a trap, you'd put it left, right, above, and most importantly, below the first cobble. And as you look with your detect magic and looking for some telltale signs of traps, you see boom, 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 as 6 incredibly well hidden glyphs of warding appear around this door.
Holy shit.
What the fuck is happening?
To be clear, these glyphs were shielded from the detect magic spell, and it's only looking very closely and very carefully at where you would yourself put traps to try to kill somebody. Are you like there, but you clock 6 of them?
So they're not traps; they're just glyphs of warding. But
So glyphs of warding are with a 20 insight. These are traps.
oh, never mind.
Like
Oh, okay.
Stuff.
So not just to see who opened it, like it would
no,
frickin'
so
murder me.
yeah, so
There will be repercussions.
yeah, essentially, if you guys don't know, the traditional glyph of warding, essentially, if you do whatever the enchanter said to trigger it, it's essentially a giant fire or acid ball that detonates.
Could I, with my 20
Mhm.
insight, and you can say no,
Mhm.
would I perhaps think that the trigger would be seeing anyone other than Artie open the door?
So with the 20 insight, and because you did an insight, and you read Artie's ledgers, and you had such a good roll there too, Artie is meticulous. He is not stupid. If there is a hidden room, everything Artie has done, he has done for the guild. He has made rooms for people. He's a very considerate person. So, in those considerations, there might be a world where he needs someone other than himself to go into this room. You don't think the trigger is anyone but Artie coming into this room. However, as you look at the door with your detect magic, you notice the keyhole is magic. So most likely the trigger has something to do with if somebody tries to bypass the lock by picking it or not using the key, the wards will detonate.
Okay. Alright, so my idea isn't gonna work. Okay.
You could give me an Arcana check to try to disable the lock.
Could it be something with our tattoo thing? The guild symbol?
Do you want to try to like hold up your guild symbol like your amorphous black?
Well, oh, that's right. We don't really have a symbol.
Mm-hmm. It's right now. It's just kind of a blob.
Does Artie have one?
Artie has a blob tattoo, but he expressed to you guys that you should pick the name, and you should pick the symbol.
Okay. Well, I can do an Arcana. Is this just to kind of figure out like what the lock could?
So you could give me an Arcana check to try to figure out how the lock operates, but
Mhm.
with your 20 insight, you're pretty confident that if
Okay.
you screw with it and you fuck up, the glyphs
Okay.
will detonate.
Okay.
Essentially, you could give me an Arcana check to try to disable the lock. Essentially, using your magic to either overload or rewrite the conditions on this lock, thus
Mhm.
allowing you to go in. But you have a strong feeling that if you mess up,
I'm
one
fucked.
if not all these glyphs are going to detonate.
Okay. I think I would rather. I think just knowing that it's here is enough for me for now.
Okay.
And trying
Absolutely.
to figure out if I can
and
see a key on him or, you know.
Sure. Give me a history check.
Okay. That is a 16.
All right. Artie is not a smooth operator. at all. You've seen him try to talk and hit on some women. He's even tried to talk to Lyran a little bit, to very terrible results. But Artie is not an unattractive young man. However, and he's also not necessarily like, he's gangly, but he's not so gangly. He's not like semi-muscular looking.
Mhm.
And just kind of as you think about it, Artie has never wore a V-neck. He's always buttoned up, and he never exposes his neck, like ever. If but you don't remember Artie carrying a key, certainly not an arcane key. But you do clock with a 16 that if there was a spot that Artie really didn't want people to see, it's his neck.
Okay. Okay. I think that's all.
Mhm.
I'm like, I think this knowledge is enough for me for now.
Okay, yeah,
When we come back to
100%.
because I can get back on here again. Artie's easy to distract.
You're strictly speaking not wrong,
Mhm.
at all. But yeah,
All right. Well, as I'm like headed up, I'm
Mhm.
gonna be listening for how much commotion there is going on,
Mhm.
and like just
Um,
make sure that I'm
a,
sneaky, kind of
a,
come
a,
out the
a
door.
a fair bit. With your high stealth and with your rolls, I'm gonna
Okay.
say just as easily as you came in, you exit, you kind of prop the door and you just slide out. Lyran and Dyran just perfectly as you had like kind of come out had crossed and just totally missed you, and you shut the door without a sound.
Perfect. And I had made sure to put the safe and everything back exactly
Yep.
how it was too.
100%. That's not a problem.
Awesome. I almost lied about my nat 20 so that because I'm like this is like ridiculous. Like I'm like
Honestly, luck is just
God.
sometimes on your side. That's a-okay.
Holy
Must be
Um,
nice.
now I'm just gonna roll shit the rest of the night. So
it's true.
Maybe we can swap
Kelsey,
places.
I gotta be honest with you, my rolls have been dog ass.
Uh,
So I'm glad
so
somebody's
I just
getting.
have all of it.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm glad somebody's hitting rolls. All right, you could get up there and V, you kind of watch, and the boys are still talking about napalm arrows.
Oh Jesus.
And Artie is like trying to like talk about like figuring out a delivery system that would allow a quiver, and then to be deployed when it was shot. Seems like he has a couple of decent ideas, but nothing's quite panning out yet. But the practical aspects of carrying a napalm coated arrow that could be detonated very easily inside a glass jar does not appeal to you. Like as an adventurer who gets beat up and who breaks shit, like
Mm.
you're like that would not work. And you're
It's a
kind of
good
going back to
benefit.
debating the merits and the pros and cons. Vina, you clock that Artie has stripped down to his undershirt, and kind of as you already realized, he's got a short white undershirt with arms rolled up. His shirt's kind of untucked and uncharacteristically unkept. But this entire time, as his shirts are rolled up, and he's kind of like a little bit undressed, he is still 100% buttoned up.
Hmm. I think I will. Or maybe not yet. Because I know that Iris is like closer with Artie.
Sure.
So maybe I don't want to reveal what I found with Iris yet until I know Iris a little more.
Sure. You also do know Artie has a roommate.
Yes.
Hey.
But not as sneaky of a roommate as Iris is, though.
That's true.
You know, so it's like Iris, I think, is good for the job to get the key, but I don't know if I want Iris to know the information that I know yet.
Sure. Absolutely.
So that might be a discovery for another day. Kind of keep
Okay.
that in the back of my mind, I think.
All right. No problemo. The day goes on. Vina, are you sharing your discovery with anyone else, or are you just kind of keeping it to yourself? Sounds like. All right, that's a lot of quietness from Chelsea. We're gonna assume she's keeping it to herself.
Oh no,
the
sorry.
ga-
I was just looking at the chat and then showing it to the camera too for the
Oh, gotcha.
game. Is all that was. So I missed the first. I missed. Was that a question for me? I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, no, I was just clarifying that you're keeping it to yourself.
Oh yes. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Sorry guys.
The night rolls on. You guys get ready for bed. Calgus, give me a perception check as y'all are going to bed.
You bet your ass I will. 7.
7. With the 7, God, it's been such an exciting day. Artie kind of like quickly whips off his shirt, puts on another shirt, and you guys are still talking about You're still talking about the pros and cons of double-bladed scimitars,
Yes.
and what it would mean to attach a chain and like essentially have a chain whip scimitar.
Yes. The amount of skill it would take, and
Mhm.
yeah.
And then
Maybe I-
Artie's talking about delivery systems for poisons and stuff like that.
Yes. Yes.
Maybe I should have told Calgus for if he saw anything.
But the thing is, right? You gotta remember, you're the scalpel. I'm the mallet.
Yeah, I really.
When
I
it
just-
comes to social interaction.
Chelsea really wants to tell people. I just don't think Vina would.
Probably not.
I don't think Vina would.
Mm-mm.
Bud, give me a perception check as night closes in.
15.
15. With a 15, as you're kind of getting ready for bed, suddenly there's just a tapping on your window.
I am going to draw my crossbow,
Mhm.
and I'm gonna say, can I see anything with my dark vision?
Yes, there is a crow at your window with a messenger tube on it.
Have I seen this kind of messenger style
Absolutely.
before from
Ravens are
specific
ravens are
group?
typically used, but people in your profession like crows.
Yeah.
Crows form longer lasting bonds and are very clever.
Yeah, I will walk up to it,
Mhm.
open the window, and attempt to take the scroll.
It will give you the scroll willingly, and as you take it, it'll kind of caw at you. You know it wants some sort of payment, some shiny or some food, or it's traditional to tip the messenger.
Yeah. I will offer it.
Napalm.
I will shoot the crow. Off its neck.
There's your tip.
I will give it 1 silver piece.
You give it a silver.
Give me something shiny.
Yeah.
Crows like shiny.
Bud, there is only one piece that is acceptable for a messenger like this, and it is a silver. Instinctively, I was gonna make you do a history check, but instinctively, you nailed it. You hand it a silver, and you watch as the little piece of paper burns in your hand, and the crow speaks in a deep monotone voice. So shines a kind deed in a weary world. Hello, Bud.
How are you?
I'm good, my friend.
What do you
I
want?
was- I don't know how your clan is right now, but dark things have been happening in the northern jungles. The clan of Cat has all been wiped out, eviscerated.
I'm not quite capable yet of coming back.
I see. That's disappointing. Well,
I agree.
it's good I wasn't asking you to come back. Just things move to the north. It's a fair warning. That's all.
And who is sending this message in particular? Do I realize? Is it in a voice of a person, or is it?
It is in the deep monotone voice of a man. You go ahead and roll me a history check.
Advantage, because there's a high chance
It's a tiefling?
So it's not a tiefling, but advantage because it is an area of your expertise.
There we go. Okay, 24.
24. With a 24, Bud, you have no love for devils.
Yep.
But some of them have their use. Specifically, Lorena, a minor devil, is often utilized by hunters as an information broker. This is one of her familiars. Her familiar's name is Zephyr. He's a minor devil who will communicate the needs of Lorena to hunters deemed capable or deemed political. Like it's not necessarily that you're like the best hunter in the world. It's politically or for some reason they're reaching out to you because you're better suited to do the job. Whether that's your political affiliations, whether that's machinations of their own accord, it's the downside of information brokers. Very rarely do they give anything away for free, and typically they take more than people are willing to realize.
Why are you telling me this right now? If you don't expect me to come over right now.
Call it a hope. You once were capable, in your prime. Lorena seems to think that you might still have something to offer. But if you're too old and decrepit, I will let my mistress know you are of no more use. Old man. You mortals are so fragile.
I've grown weak in my years. Do you know how my parents are doing?
Oh, my dear Bud. Always with such stupid questions. Ask the right ones, and I might have an answer for you next time. And with that, the crow will take wing and fly away.
Damn. Damn.
With two middle fingers like this, right?
That's very much the energy as it soars into the blackness.
Okay.
You got fucking default dance done.
I would also like to I would also like to say that before Vina even goes to bed, she even if it's just her room, right? Kind of similar alarms of
Sure.
that of the night before.
Yep, absolutely. You can boop boop boop.
Yeah, my alarm's
no,
set.
no problemo. Actually, Vina, as you place your alarm spell, you notice
It's
and
not spell
Calgus.
because I don't have the spell, but it's the little.
Oh, the little. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Understood. The little trinkets and togs and the little
Uh-huh.
clickety clackies. Got it. You do so. The night passes. Calgus, give me a perception check.
That's going to be. Oh, you said perception?
Yep.
Mod 20.
Mod 20. Calgus, with a mod 20, about 2 a.m., you hear as Artie opens the door and quietly closes it behind him. And you hear, once again, Artie is not naturally very stealthy, but you hear padded feet going down the steps of just, quietly just creeping downstairs. And then you hear some rustling in the kitchen.
So, as a fellow inventor, I understand that dreams can bring forth great ideas. And when you have that great idea, no matter the time, you must go for it.
Yes.
So I'm under that after that long day, already had a great dream about something he wants to do. and Calgus wants to help.
Okay.
So Calgus is going to go downstairs and go help him.
All right, Calgus, you go downstairs. Give me a stealth check.
Because I'm trying not to wake anybody else up.
Essentially.
21.
21. Okay, with the 21, you absolutely creep down the stairs.
And scare the shit out of him.
Yeah, and as you get downstairs, you notice Artie is laying out. You kind of watch from the shadows for a minute, like curious as to what Artie's like machinations are and what his ideas are. But instead of seeing like vials of alchemical potions and fiery liquids, you see Artie laying out last night's dinner. And he's throwing some stew on the table. He's throwing some bread, throwing some water, throwing some juice, and just kind of gathering up a little meal on the table and just kind of ferrying it back and forth.
Yes, a midnight snack.
Mhm.
I see.
As you watch, Artie kind of grabs a serving tray, slips the serving tray under the stuff, and he goes down to the basement, takes a key from off his neck, clicks open the door, shuts the door behind him. You hear, and downstairs he goes.
See, I assume he's hungry,
Mhm.
but has
And
an
and you know that's where he kept all his stuff from earlier today.
Yeah,
He's from
exactly.
upstairs
Exactly. I'm
with
gonna
all
go
the
downstairs.
alchemical stuff. Okay.
I'm gonna try to open the door.
So the door is locked. Give me a sleight of hand check.
Can it be a tinker's tool?
Yeah, I'd say it can be.
Sick. 11 plus 17.
17. With the 17, you're like, and I finesse this, and I do this, and I hit a hit with a hammer, and you're able to open the door. It's not a loud resounding bonk, but it is certainly not nearly as silent as Vina with her little tools just click. Makes a little sound, but you hear the sound of Artie's steps going downstairs as he's kind of humming to himself.
Follow, because I'm like, oh, he just wants to do stuff.
Yeah.
An inventor's mind never stops, Mason.
Calgus, you hear the footsteps kind of fade away as you kind of go downstairs, and you find yourself in an empty basement. The humming no longer happening.
I'm confused. Can I do an investigation check?
Yeah,
to
go
see
ahead. Give
where
me an
he may have
investigation
went?
check. Yeah, 100%.
Interesting. 24. 16
Okay.
plus, or excuse me, 18 plus 6.
I'm gonna be clear. The DC was a 23. So Calgus, you're kind of like looking around. You're like, Artie?
Where'd he go?
Like, and you peek behind some potatoes, and like at one point you're like, he's in the carrots. No, he's not in the carrots.
I know.
Like you're just kind of looking around, and eventually you're like, huh, okay, well maybe he is actually trying to hide from me. Like, you look at the dirt and the dust disturbed by Artie's feet, and you're able to pick out, much like V, you pick out where Artie's sleeping bag was. You pick out several sets of footprints. Most of them are Artie's, but you pick out one set of footprints that aren't Artie's. And you kind of follow the little disturbed dirt and grime all the way to a wall. And just a complete
And like I
cobble
can't get
wall.
through it.
And you notice that literally a footstep is cut off in half under the wall. And it seems like this is a fairly well-worn path.
Okay. Well, I'm assuming it's magical, right? I think I could have that astute observation.
Yeah, you could probably assume it's magical or a device of some kind that is concealing something.
I'm gonna cast detect magic.
You cast detect magic, much like V. Your eyes. How does it manifest for you?
Mine go a bright blue.
Your eyes go a beautiful blue. As you see a doorway, with once again kind of the ramshackle wooden door, but perfectly squared, so it's airtight. And there's a little plaque that says Artie's space.
I'm just gonna. I'm gonna knock on the door. It's like, Artie, is this your workspace?
Calgus, give me a perception check.
Yeah. 13.
13. With the 13, very audibly, you can hear the crash of a tray and multiple plates of food as a glass shatters, and then just dead silence from the other side of the door.
I'm gonna knock again. Artie, did you drop something? I can help. I know, like, inventions come due at any time, and I'm excited too. So like,
Calgus, with a 13 perception, you clock shuffling on the other side of the door,
Mhm.
but it is dead silent.
I'm just gonna knock again. Artie, I hear you. It's okay. I can help.
Give me a persuasion check.
Oh, don't worry about this. I got a +0. 18.
18?
Where is it? Where is it?
Tie goes to roller.
Oh no, it tipped.
I trust you. With an 18 persuasion, and uncharacteristically, Artie, I just want to help you statement. And you hear from the other side of the door, you hear Calgus, don't try to open the door. Just give me a second.
Okay.
And you hear a slow thud, thud, thud. As an inventor, you know the sound of somebody smacking their own head against a wall, slowly.
Yes.
Just like, what the fuck do I do now? Artie, the door kind of creaks open, and Callius, you see multiple runes that were once hidden, glyphs of warding, flash, and then kind of shut and like disconnect. And you see Artie's boyish kind of features peek out from the door. Like, you just see a sliver of him, and he's like, "I'm fine. Everything's fine. It's just
Did
me
you
in
have
here. It's fine."
Did you have an idea?
Yes, an idea. Yes, I did. I did have an idea. It was a good one too.
I'm so hearing that. Calgus is gonna be like perfect and try to walk into the room.
Give me a contested strength check. Your athletics versus Artie's athletics. Artie is rolling with a -1.
I'm rolling with a 0. 7.
Okay, that's better than a 2. Calgus, you just, excellent, boom, and you throw open the door.
I'm gonna like throw on my big leather jacket,
Mhm.
ready to like, work with anything.
Yeah, absolutely. Just tossing on your leather jacket. You come
Ready
into
to
a
go.
room that looks very similar to your own room. But where your room is a little more spartanly furnished, you notice this room has a vanity, and it has a very nice set of arcane lights. And there is some makeup mixed in there. There's also some women's clothing strewn around. And in the bed, the food that was being presented to her, strewn across the floor, is a young Saurian woman, just in her nightgown, looking shocked and scared. And Artie's kind of looking at you and looking to her. And you see him pull a small dagger and like kind of like shakily point it at you, but then like lower it, and then kind of like you clock multiple emotions going across his face. Mostly it's yeah, give me an insight check. It's not a high DC.
Well, don't worry because I rolled insight. Oh, 8.
Yep.
4 plus
Oh,
4.
8. With an 8, you see confusion, but you're just clocking general confusion.
Mhm.
Like, Artie's not quite sure what to do next.
Calgus is gonna be like not even like giving note to the person in the bed. He's still like under the understanding that we are here to invent. So we are here to create.
Mhm.
And I'm like, he's just kind of look around and look for like a word. Like, okay, so what are we doing? What are we building? What's happening?
We are building a secret.
Okay.
Mhm.
Why?
Because this room cannot be found by anybody, Calgus.
Oh, like I said, okay. You gotta have your. I
Yes,
get it. Secret workshop.
and the
It's
fact that
understandable.
you found it means it's not good enough. It's not good enough yet. And I'm glad you did because you can help me make it so people can't find it.
You were testing me to see if I was good enough to find it, and I am, so I can make better traps and provisions.
Yes, absolutely. Calgus, give me an insight check with advantage.
I want to know who this is.
So 23. Yeah, 23.
With a 23, you're really excited. And you do clock that Artie is interested in hiding this room. But you also clock Artie is lying through his teeth. He
Okay.
seems very scared, very panicky. The woman behind him seems very scared, less panicky, but there is a fear in her eyes.
Okay.
As you kind of see her, you clock a very young and beautiful Saurian woman, similar kind of to Artie. She's kind of got that plume of feathers, but this plume kind of mimics hair more so and is a beautiful pink. And she's dressed in very simple clothes. Give me a history check.
Oh my god, I'm on fucking fire now. History? 23.
23. With a 23, Calgus, you're like, oh yeah, that's what those fucking what were they? Those people being marched down the street were wearing.
I see. I'm gonna clock it. I'm gonna, like, so you know how like I have my long
Mhm.
muzzle? You know, like a dog, how they turn their head to kind of see better, to see like I'm gonna turn my head, look at her, look at him, look at her, look at him, look at her, look at him. Oh, oh. Ah. Yes. I'm gonna direct eye contact with Archie now. We need to hide it.
I
Artie,
love
excuse me.
Riverdale. Sorry.
Artie. I look at Artie. We need to hide this room.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we do.
Yep.
Yes.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Better.
Yes,
Better.
Because I could just cast a low spell and I could see the door, and there's a lot of footprints down here that get caught off and lead here, so we need to clean the dirt away from the floor, make tile up the basement.
You see, Artie has clearly planned out this meticulously, and he has missed some things, and it's clicking in his head that he missed some very obvious things.
Mhm.
But yeah, he'll be like, yes, well, Calgus, if I have your assistance in this endeavor, this is the Lady Ninth. And he'll kind of gesture to the young Saurian woman.
Do I know that name?
Give me a history check. Very high DC.
Yeah, 6.
No, not fucking ringing a bell.
Okay. I'm gonna look at him like I understand why she needs to be hidden.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you need to hide her? I just like, not that we aren't going to do that. It's more of a
give me an insight check. DC 15.
insight. Well, guess what I rolled? A good old 15.
With a 15 insight, Artie will kind of look at you as you ask, why do we need to hide her? Or more specifically, why are you hiding her? As I kind of feel like you're implying a little bit. He'll pause and he'll be like, Ninth and I grew up together. She is a dear friend. Calgus, immediately you clock just romantic interest.
Okay, yeah, that's what I figured.
Yeah, 100% Chelsea. Yeah, you clock immediate romantic interest from Artie, but he's trying to downplay it as much as Artie can. But Artie is like, she got a job. She got a job, and it was a very good job. But recently,
they were, yeah, a lot of them got fired. We saw
yes.
that.
Fired.
Yes,
Yes.
that's a word for it that we chose to use.
You see as Artie is trying to be smooth and you're trying to like say innuendo, Ninth starts sobbing quietly. as-
I'm so sorry. I tried to.
who's deeply not sensitive.
Okay.
uh
Okay. Well, my question is,
mhm,
I have a very important question.
mhm.
Why didn't you let us know?
um
We can help.
uh Calcus.
Yes.
It's not that I don't not fully trust a band of strangers I met a week ago.
Week and a half.
Week and a half. Excuse me. Very rude of me. It's not that I don't not completely trust you, but it's mostly that.
You know,
And
that's awesome. Fair. That's fair. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
it sounds shitty. It really,
No. No.
I feel terrible. Like we really like I really enjoyed this afternoon. I had a lot of fun.
It was
I
a
had
good
a
time.
lot more fun. It's and you know I've never really had friends before, so that was great. Except Ninth, and Ninth has always been my friend. I
I
don't
get
know
it.
what the fuck I'm doing.
You are protecting family. That is what you're doing.
Calgus, give me. What'd you roll for your insight check?
15.
Okay. With a 15, Artie does not have the magical skills to conceal this room by himself, so most likely at least one other person knows. Knows at least that there is a room concealed like this.
Who made the glyphs for you? They must be trusted.
Yeah, it's a, well, he's a wizard. Um, he's he owes me favors. And I've called most of them in at this point, but he's a good man.
Okay. Is this why you were removed from the House of Ozzy? Do they know this? Or
Artie will kind of you'll see him kind of like clock it and think about it for a second, and he'll shake his head and he's like, if they knew about her, I wouldn't have got off with just being smacked.
understandable.
You understand.
Uh-huh.
Very life or death, touchy situation.
Yes.
But she can be beneficial to the guild.
Artie,
Mhm.
you don't have to convince me. You're good.
Okay. That's really nice, actually. Nint will kind of pipe up and say, "Thank you for your kindness, Sir Kobold."
I'm Calgus. I don't need any formalities, but thank you.
Ah, yes, Calgus of the Cannon Hand. You will do great things.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Now, Artie, you should understand that I'm from the Undercity, and we don't take too fondly to a lot of the noble houses. So anything to kind of jab them in the side is always fun for me.
He'll kind of nod slowly and be like, "Then we're in agreement."
Yes. We have to clean the basement's dirt floor pretty damn well.
Excellent. Ninth will kind of pipe up and she'll be like, I'm very tired of being in the basement, Artie. If I just I could just call myself something else. It's not that big of a deal.
But would people know her face then at all?
Give me an insight check as you're trying to insight a culture you were introduced to a week or two ago.
Yeah, quite. 7.
7. She's pretty, but she's not like remarkably pretty.
But like, wouldn't like nobility? Well, I guess they nobility would know her, right? Because they were like I don't want to say rented out,
Mhm.
but like
Yeah, that's true. But
would
how
she
much
be-
how
Mhm.
much of the company of nobles do you currently keep?
True. True. Also, how would people in the would she be safe in the Undercity?
Mm, iffy.
Iffy.
Um,
Okay.
and it seems like Artie seems to be a very well-connected young man.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it seems like if he wanted her in the Undercity, she'd be in the Undercity.
Fair.
But for some reason, he's keeping her close.
Okay. Okay.
Yet to do.
Well, it looks like we have a lot of work to do, and you two might have some talking that needs to be done. I will take those dishes upstairs and kind of get some more real quick and put it at the door and leave you guys to talk.
Nint will say, "Thank you, Sir Kobold."
Algus, please. Algus.
Of course. She'll kind of look at Artie. Calgus, you watch as suddenly Nint's eyes glaze over, and she starts contorting on the bed, like arms kind of flailing and like shuddering and shaking. Artie will kind of like go and like jump, like not on top of her, but like he throws his body over her to kind of like hold her down. You can go ahead and give me a medicine check.
Yeah, I would love to. 17.
70. Nin's having a seizure. It's a Grand Mall episode. And as she's like shaking and shuddering, you kind of tip her to her side. Foam is like spurting and bellowing out of her mouth. And you guys are able to kind of make sure she doesn't choke on her own vomit, essentially.
Yeah.
Artie will kind of the episode will end and Ninth is 100% passed out on the bed, and Artie will kind of look at you and be like, it happens almost every night. I try to monitor as much as I can, but it's not good. The priestesses, they did something to my friend, and he looks very troubled.
Could I do either religion or arcana check?
Give me one or the other, whichever one you prefer.
I'll do arcana to see what kind of magic could do this.
Mhm.
Give me an 24.
Well, hold on a sec.
Well, ain't this depressing? I figure it's a person.
24 Arcana?
Mhm.
Okay. With the 24 Arcana, it's not that Ninth is cursed. It's Ninth is receiving prophecy. This is fairly typical of prophets from religions and magic societies over epileptic episodes typically happen when a prophet isn't strong enough physically just to handle the visions, and some of the visions manifest as physical shuddering and shaking and stuff like that. So most likely Ninth was just having a very strong vision.
Is there any way that you can strengthen yourself for it, or is it kind of like an innate?
With a 24, you know that as you get older and as you experience magic more, you typically grow more accustomed and more hardened to it. So
Mhm.
most likely, that is the case. Ninth is just very young. You
Mhm.
clock that Ninth is maybe a year or two younger than Artie, like
Gotcha.
16, 17-year-old girl.
Gotcha. I'll just look at him and it's a side effect, in a sense, is the best word for it.
I know,
Hope,
but I hate it.
yeah, it's not pretty, especially when it's forced upon you. I don't know what her situation was, but I know of people that it's been forced upon. It should get better with age, but that's never. Waiting for it to get better is never a fun diagnosis.
That's a small consolation. What do you think? I've been torn up. The others deserve to know, but at the same time, I just there's so many variables.
That is true. That is very true. Does Iris know? You seem to have known her for.
No, Iris doesn't know.
Okay. I'm
Trou- trou-
unaware of your situation.
Trouble with Faye is Iris seems to be a good one. Truly, she's a dear friend, and I do love her. But the trouble with Faye is they're clever, and they can be manipulative. And I was warned by people who said if you contract with Faye, be very careful about what you share, and whom you share it to. I don't believe that goes for Lady Iris, but
That
I,
is fair. Yeah, Faye can be fickle. I don't know. And that's my most honest answer. Because I don't. Truly, I think at the end of the day, it's her decision.
Ninth will kind of look. Well, Ninth is 100% passed out. Excuse me. Artie will kind of look at you and look at Ninth, and you see like there's tears of frustration welling up, but like he agrees with you. And you guys can kind of talk into the night and talk about fortifying the room.
Also,
Morning.
I'll let him know that, like, the biggest thing that you can't keep someone cooped up forever. But you can change. You can get stronger.
Artie will kind of nod, and you clock that he didn't plan to keep her here forever, like locked away. It was more so like till something's passed.
Yeah.
And he's just kind of been deciding what to do. Everybody gains the full benefits of a long rest, of course. And in the morning, as you guys are being served your porridge and your eggs and stuff, there is a young Saurian woman, slightly green and teal skin, pink hair, sitting at the table and just kind of commoner's clothes. And Artie will be polishing some glasses, and he'll be like, "Good morning. This is Ninth. I hired her to be a waitress." And he'll kind of look at Calgus and like,
Calgus is not going to try to make any facial expression because he's not going to try to lie because he knows he's bad at it.
Can I do an insight check?
absolutely,
Yeah.
100%.
I also will be, by the way.
And the fact that I'm trying to hide it, I feel like I'm
Mhm.
also doing a deception check.
That's a 21.
Sure, go ahead. Calgus, give me the deception check.
10.
21 for me for my insight.
My insight is a 22.
Okay. Well, Artie rolled a 7.
So Artie's gonna wink at me, and I'm gonna like try to like And like try to
Um,
keep my face.
It's kind of that slow wink. Bud, Nathan, did you say a roll?
No.
Okay. I'm just gonna say with Artie and Calgus's incredibly low rolls, everybody can clock. No, Artie did not hire this girl yesterday. Yes, there's some sexual tension between the two of them.
Yeah, me and Artie. Yeah.
No, this is not normal. Yes, Artie is sweating way too much. Essentially, you're clocking this person is probably A, not a waitress. B, has probably never worked any physical labor a day in her life. C, Artie is trying to like protect her. You essentially glean everything except the most specifics of the situation. Like you don't know that Artie has a secret room downstairs he kept her sequestered away in, but like these two, they probably want to fuck, and they're just
I-
young.
Do I kind of put 2 and 2 together? That
Yeah,
I thought- Okay.
You
Can-
you can put 2 and 2 together. Like
Okay.
Go ahead, Mika.
Can
You go
okay.
first.
Can I kind of look at him and
Mhm.
give him like a disappointed look and then go, Artie, what the hell is happening here? Seeing as I've known him for a while and had no idea about this.
Well, you see, I he kind of looks at uh he'll kind of look at the girl, this young woman, and he'll nod and he'll be like, yeah, you can introduce yourself. And she'll kind of squeak up and she'll, hi, I'm Ninth. And you just see Artie face palm. Like something practiced just
Like, I'm-
completely failed.
I'm like
Mason-
Calgus's head is going to hit the table.
Mason,
I'm
can I
going-
make an insight check to see if he has that dog in him?
Sure.
Homie doesn't have his dog in him.
As he's doing that, I'm gonna look at her and go, and how might you know Artie?
Ninth will kind of sputter for a second. She'll be like, well, we met when we were children, and then I got a job with the Priestess of Hadro, and then I spent time with that Lord
Calgus is gonna
Aussie."
slam his coffee on the table.
Um,
That was a good coffee. Just
I'm
really
gonna-
loudly.
I'm gonna glare at Calgus and go, continue, Artie.
so it's actually Ninth talking.
Sorry,
Um,
my bad.
It seems like there might have been a rehearsed script, and Ninth has just 100% abandoned the script in panic.
I'm gonna look
As
at
you're
Artie.
just kind of
We didn't plan for improv.
a fairy just bearing down on her. And she's just kind of like, well, yeah, and then I got a job there, and then I shouldn't have told you that, and then then we got engaged, and then and she just kind of babbles on for a couple of minutes, just about really nothing. But the big parts is she's engaged to Artie. She is a former high priestess of Hadro, and Artie and her have been friends since they were like children.
I'm going
Quest-
to look. Oh, no, you go ahead.
This is just a question because Chelsea doesn't know.
Sure.
Does Vita need to be? Because I can't remember if it was like certain areas or if it was certain high nobility that she had to be
Sure.
cautious.
The high priestesses of Hadro, absolutely, Vina should be careful of. However, give me a history check.
Okay. Oh, that's a nat one.
Nat one.
With the same dice, by
And
the
there
way.
it is.
This
So-
person is you need to be very careful around. She is suspicious. This is
I go back up
this-
to my room.
yeah, this is very weird.
I just leave.
I'm
I
gonna-
just peace out. Back up to my room. Okay.
I'm gonna look back to Artie and go,
Totally
and
got it.
where has she been this whole time? Why have I not met her before?
You see Artie and Ninth kind of like make eye contact, and then Artie will take a breath and he'll be like, she was at a friend's, and Ninth is like, the basement.
Iris is gonna kind of stand speechless for a second, just
Once
looking
a-
at Artie, confused as fuck.
Once again, Calgus's head hits the table.
And
Uh,
do I clock this? Like,
Yeah, you
Calgus
you
very
you clock
obviously
Calgus.
just-
Ninth will like raise her hands. She's like, no, but it's not like a dungeon thing. It's like there was a bed, and like he only locked the door sometimes, and he brought me food twice a day.
And I'll once again
and-
slam my head against the table.
I'm gonna turn to Calgus and go, hey, so you knew about this. How long?
I'm gonna look at my watch. 5 hours.
Hmm. And how did you discover this?
I live with Artie.
Oh, so he was just in your, like, just gonna be like, oh, so just naturally found this out?
Yeah, I thought he went to make an invention. I followed him. I walked into
Mhm.
a room. That's kind of what happened.
Hmm.
And it's like, look at that, a new waitress. Amazing.
Iris is very displeased and in a moment of stress has a healing potion.
I'm gonna say that Calgus is trying to go back to the lie that she is in fact a waitress that we hired, who just happened to be living in the basement.
Calgus. Artie has 100% given up the lie. So, this guy's Riz checks have been atrocious.
Dude. He
Um,
ain't got that dog in him. He ain't-
Yeah, I made a 14 for my check, so dog,
ba-
no
ba-
dog.
basically, the rest of the party is clued into everything that's happened. All the info Calgus has, all the info Artie has. Ninth is a high priestess of Hadro. She is the lowest of the high priestesses of Hadro. She hadn't been on the job very long. She doesn't have a lot of retinue. She had never been rented out to lords, and her gift of prophecy, while potent, is underdeveloped.
What do the priestesses believe in? What do they follow? And
So largely, the priestesses of Hadro, like a lot of people are assuming they're like, this society typically does sun worship. The priests of Hadro are not necessarily like worshiping any god. They are like, think of what oracles were in ancient Greece. They are farseers. They see the future, and therefore, yes, there's some religious aspects to their sect, but mostly it's their prophets.
So if she's never got rented out, hey,
Mhm.
we gotta find a better term for that because
yeah,
that just
that was
feels
just gonna
bad.
say.
It just doesn't feel good.
Yikes.
Contracted.
She got contract. She never got contracted. It's only her name on the ledgers, then, right? Nobody like.
Pretty much, yeah. It would be very hard to place her. Like most nobles, probably the priests of Hadro typically like wear like cloaks, and you don't typically see their faces.
So we get her a new name. So this is probably what we decided in the basement.
Yeah.
We get her a new name, and she should be fine because nobles aren't coming here. Really, and she just doesn't leave this kind of
Sure.
section.
Calgus, give me an intelligence check.
Oh.
I just
Just
like to
flat
say that
intelligence.
Vina like has her door cracked, like she's still trying to listen in on everything.
Yeah, Vina, you can
Just-
absolutely listen into everything.
Okay.
18 intelligence.
18. With an 18, absolutely 100%, unless she has a prophecy in front of someone.
Ah.
Motherfucker. Everyone knows that she has. That prophets have seizures, don't they? That's a thing.
Very common knowledge.
People don't have seizures just other ways.
They do, it's a thing, but most people don't like say weird cryptic things or refer to people by titles they don't yet have.
Like she said to me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Cool.
Wait, what did
Sick.
she say to you?
She called me the hand cannon.
Oh. I missed that.
Calgus the hand
Look at
cannon.
less as a title and more of just like a.
Calgus of the Cannon. Yep.
Oh, Calgus of the cannon. Yes,
Hand cannon.
that is what a revolver is sometimes referred to as.
It's true.
As a hand cannon.
That's what I. Never mind.
Don't even go there.
I think
Only
we're
hand-
already there. Yeah. But yeah. You guys essentially clock that yeah, if she has a prophecy in front of somebody, it's going to be very hard to like smooth that over. Possible, but something to consider.
So she should be
Could
the
it-
cook in the back. So she has one. No one can see her.
Um,
Wow, you
Yeah.
immediately make her cook. Jeez.
Yes,
she,
'cause
she,
she's
she
a
could be
woman.
cook.
Take that back right fucking now, you son of a bitch.
What?
Hmm.
I'm kidding, by the way, just for the recording. Because
It-
this is
it's-
recording. This is a joke. This is a joke. This eye
No,
contact.
it's not. This is how he is all the
Eye
time.
contact. Joke. I am joking.
I mean,
I
in,
like to cook too.
In
I'll be
Brandon's
happily.
defense, he and I cook a lot.
That's fair. I'd be happy
Brandon,
to.
Brandon, do you want me to zoom in? Want me
Yes.
to zoom in? Okay,
I
here,
would
hang on.
be-
Give me a second.
Yes.
Give me a second.
I would love to cook for you. Just that's like you don't. I can be barefoot in the kitchen. That's okay. We're good. So please. I'm not sexist. I promise.
Please wear an apron and
You are
only an apron.
ableist.
I'm an ableist. That is true. Yeah.
Anyway, you guys, Ninth will pipe up, and she's like, I am pretty good at cooking, actually.
So as long as she's not cooking with hot things, then has a seizure. Oh fuck.
You'll kind of Ninth will kind of stand up, and she is a very frail, very petite young woman, and she'll stand up, and Artie will be like, you kind of like see him like go like, oh Ninth, like you just got to be careful, and Ninth's like, oh, it's fine, it's fine. You watch her grab a kitchen knife off the counter and just start twirling it deftly,
Ah.
and then just launch into like cutting carrots so fine and so close. And at the end of it, Artie's like, I just don't want you to get hurt. And then kind of like looks at him, takes the knife and chucks it into the wall. And she's like, Artie, I'm fine. We've been over this. I'm infinitely more capable than you. Didn't want to say it in front of your friend, but there it is. I used to beat him up consistently.
Yeah.
He's very
Oh.
he's got a very weak constitution actually. Look, Artie, I'm putting you on full blast here, but frankly, it's just you've been very kind, but you've kept me in a basement and
So-
suffocating. Just
I
fucking
I have a very important
suffocating.
question. I have a very important question. Do you have understanding? Like, do you have do you know when it's gonna happen?
That's a good question. Typically, it happens at night, under the moon. They were trying to develop my prophecy so it would happen in the day, but I haven't been able to make that happen. As
Let's
a
keep
culture,
it that way.
as a culture that does sun worship, it's complicated to have your prophecies at night.
That's fair. Awesome. Sorry, I cut you off, Nathan.
Nothing important.
Hmm.
What?
Just remember, this is
So-
recorded.
Mm-hmm.
So, Ninfa, how long does Artie last while wrestling?
Ninth will kind of pause.
Percentile
Her
time?
initial fluster is kind of gone, and she's like,
3 seconds.
"Sir, that's very inappropriate, especially for a 60-year-old man."
For a
I-
s- for a s-
Iris.
for a
Iris loves her.
60-year-old man.
I'm not 60. I'm not 60.
Could have fooled me.
I love her. I love her. I'm gonna reach my hand out for a high five to her.
She'll definitely just immediately smack it.
I
And
also-
you clock like for a moment, like there's that look of, oh fuck, that wasn't ladylike, and then just kind of like this tomboy demeanor that's been developing in her eyes. She just doesn't give a fuck. Like where
I
Artie
also-
like cares about everything, she does not fucking give a fuck.
I also throw a compliment to her hair color because it's pink, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
She's like, oh, I
You
love your
guys
wings, by the way.
mad?
Those are fantastic.
Thank you.
I'm gonna look at Artie. All right, Artie, I have an idea for us later.
Stand by.
We'll do it later. I'm gonna teach Artie how to be an artificer. Artie the artificer. Because he's on his way to being a. He already has the alchemical stuff for it.
He's an artificer.
He has no level.
He's an alchemist.
Oh. Wait.
Which there. He's level 0.
Hold up.
You
Oh,
don't
yeah,
know
level 0,
that.
Well, true. I'm
Um,
going
But
on
he
the
is an
assumption that he's an alchemist.
So once again,
Wait,
NPCs,
is he- oh, yes,
don't play by the
yes.
same rules as PCs.
True.
But he is.
He
Give-
is not. Yeah.
No, that's 4 zodiac signs. What
Right.
the fuck, Google? Anyway, Artie is a very accomplished alchemist, and while
right.
he is not necessarily like he's like master of none. But Calgus, you watched him make fucking IEDs. He's talking about making homemade napalm, and you watched him
IUDs.
concoct and like create multiple different, like, from the draughts, from the health potions. Like, he seems to be a very like jack of all trades alchemist, which typically alchemists are going to be focused in one area, like potions, explosives. Like, to be able to be like, I can do X, Y, and Z, pretty impressive.
Okay. So I don't need to teach him how to be an artificer, is what you're saying.
You could.
Maybe. We'll figure it out.
It is Sunday. Ninth will kind of go to cooking. Very quickly, you notice that the dagger already had on his hip, Ninth is now wearing. And just by the position of the dagger, she's like not carrying it as a traditional dagger on your hip. She's carrying it in a quick release sheath on her like waistline. Seems like Ninth's a little more squared away than one might have initially thought. But she'll launch into cooking. Dyron gets a little pissy because cooking was kind of his thing. But he quickly sets to cleaning and other things. Artie will kind of breathe a sigh of relief. Like, this went better than he was hoping for, and he didn't really know what to expect. He'll kind of sigh and he'll be like, new jobs are going to be posted tomorrow. However, I did get a missive the other night. The job for the werewolf has been up to 1,000 gold reward. Seems like they really seems like some things are really happening in the north, and people are concerned about it.
And it's to protect the goblins, right? That's right. It's goblins west.
It's to protect a small goblin settlement.
Oh, I need that. Oh, that's. Oh, I'm sorry, Nathan. That's so in my character.
As Artie will kind of continue, he's like, typically goblins are not somebody who are protected folk, but this clan in particular really helped House Allocrest during the war, and therefore are being treated very well.
As another smaller race, I think they need our help, right? I mean, like, that's a lot of gold. It's a lot of gold.
You said
True.
1,000 gold bounty?
It's 1,000. That's
1,000
1,000
gold.
gold. Get
I'm
in.
gonna- Bud's
Bop
gonna
the
be
werewolf.
quiet.
Get out. Bop in. Bop the werewolf. Get out. Quick, easy
I'm
week and
okay
a
with
half.
fighting a werewolf.
In and out. I guess he just has to tank. Never mind. They'll say, I forget Kyle's character's name, but
Curran.
Curran, yeah, he wouldn't be able to do much damage to it, but that's fine. We
Yep.
just need him to face tank.
I
That is-
shoot arrows.
How much silver do we have?
Artie will kind of pause and be like, well, the silverware, like, I didn't buy a ton of it, but from the back you just hear Ninth, Artie, he's talking about weapons.
Yeah, I don't want utensil grade silver.
Would I have
Damn it.
access to any?
V, you would have access to a significant amount of silver.
Okay. I won't like yell from upstairs because I'm still terrified, right?
Mhm.
Of
Yeah, naturally.
if like I'm not going near her. I could get us some. That's it. That's it.
Sure. Ninth is fully in the kitchen. Like, V would clock
Oh,
that.
okay. Then she'd be still.
Mhm.
She'd be down there, but if she came out of the kitchen, like she still wouldn't be in line
Sure.
of sight.
Ninth seems to really enjoy cooking. And aside from firing off some one-liners every once in a while, seems to be pretty happy back there.
Okay, sounds good.
We got the silver for those who need it. If it's just one werewolf, right?
I thought it was a werewolf problem.
It is a werewolf problem.
Okay, multiple werewolves.
Werewolves go in packs, and if they're alone, fuck them.
I think it's very
Oh,
easy. I
I
think. I
can
mean,
help us out with silvering our weapons. I've done it many times before. But we'll need to do that before we do something.
So,
Mhm.
I would have plenty
You
to
you could
silver.
arrange for silver to be delivered.
Oh, cool. Awesome.
so I wouldn't need it because my pistol's elemental damage now. Correct? Because it's magic.
Yes, DM to player, your pistol is magic.
Nice.
Okay. Plus, it was already magic because of repeating shot. So
I have so
but
much
for
steel
purposes
tip
of overcoming resistance.
yes.
Iris, Mina, you can send for enough silver to silver pretty much everybody's weapons pretty easily. Calgus and Bud, you can spend about 3-4 hours mixing silver, hemlock, and some other basic herbs to properly silver blades and weapons.
Easy.
I just need to basically do my whole quiver.
Sure, yeah, and that's going to be about as much silver as a sword. Iris,
And I
do you have
can
any
go out.
weapons you need to be silvered?
My arrows would be.
Yeah, I can do that. That's easy.
Also, wait 1 second. I just wanna.
So right now, what people are supplying the silver?
I've got the
So-
silver covered.
And I'm
the-
smithing- and I'm
Es- essen-
smithing it.
essentially, what I'm figuring out is the amount of silver right now. V has enough silver to cover it.
Also, my rapier, I would like to have.
Okay.
As well, just for close
1,
combat.
2, and then Vina, do you need any weapons silvered?
I do have a light crossbow,
Okay.
so I
S-
think I will probably silver those.
Silver the bolts.
bolts.
Give me a sleight of hand check.
Hmm. That's a 5.
A 5. As you're all silvering the weapons, you very carefully apply under the tutelage of Calgus and Bud. You apply the silver and you apply the hemlock and you apply all these herbs, and it just occurs to you that this is a really nasty combo for anything that changes and shifts, and especially for a werewolf. By adding a couple little drops of blood
No.
from each of the hunters, you can make this potentially a little more potent.
Wait, what? What do
So
you
if we
mean
add drops of our own blood to these weapons, it improves their potency?
Would I know anything
Oh, he's typing.
particularly regarding blood?
Yeah, give me a history check.
I don't know. I know this is very annoying for me to keep asking.
No, you're
if
fine.
it's damage,
No, not
but-
fiendish. Not fiendish.
Okay, that's what I thought.
I'll try to keep that in mind.
All right, 22.
22. There are some there's some superstitions around it mixing in the blood of the hunter with the silver. Kind of the whole silver of the ground, plant of the earth, blood of the hunter type deal. And there is something maybe there. But essentially, what V is kind of muttering to herself about is a superstition. Like, it doesn't really do anything.
Sorry,
Yeah.
but
Why did I?
this is a bit of my expertise and won't really help.
Did I roll sleight of hand because I accidentally make myself or what?
You do have a small cut on your hand.
Ooh.
I am confused.
Um,
But I will continue smithing.
I'm gonna bandage it up because I hate it.
Sure.
Blood?
You bandage it up. Being a hunter, you're smart enough to take precautions. Blood carries some nasty diseases, so wrap it up.
Wrap it up. True.
Mhm.
Based.
Give me a perception check, bud. Very high DC.
Eight.
8. Yeah, you bandage it up. No worries.
Could it?
Um,
I mean, I guess I was gonna say survival, but that doesn't add much.
you could make a survival check.
I know, but I'm not. I'd feel bad to do a different roll.
It's okay.
No, go ahead and
do
make a survival check. You're looking for different things.
That one?
I rolled the same
Oh.
thing on the dice, so 8.
8. With an 8, you mixed fucking hemlock in with the silvering ingredients, and V just cut herself.
Is that bad?
Meaning,
Hemlock is a poisonous plant that is deathly poisonous.
Oh, that's bad.
would I realize this mistake?
Give me an intelligence check.
Natural 20.
Natural 20. Okay, so hemlock by itself is incredibly poisonous. But you being a hunter know the difference between poisonous and venomous, so to speak. Poisonous plant, you have to ingest it. Getting into the bloodstream isn't actually going to do anything. For somebody who is maybe a little lesser initiated, you might have assumed V poisoned herself, but you just know you're going to keep it clean. It's a nasty little cut, so keep it clean, keep it treated. But yeah, it does look a little pale, but V's a thin woman. Her constitution's maybe not the best.
Is there anything I could quickly make with my Fun fact: I don't know if I've said this. I've been letting Artie do his own thing, but I am proficient with alchemist supplies.
Oh,
Can I make-
okay. So
Anyway.
what do you want to make, like a healing, like a tonic, or like just a salve, or
Yeah.
give me an alchemy check. So it'll be your intelligence plus your proficiency.
Okay.
It could also be your wisdom if you'd like.
Oh no, I'm smarter. 15.
15. Yeah, you make a little healing salve. Once again, like hurts, it's a little pale, but like, you know, as you look at V, maybe it's just the shock of being cut and like, oh fuck, I might have been poisoned.
I'm gonna play it off my best as in that was on purpose.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is the pale? Is it staying
V,
localized?
you really have to go to the bathroom right now.
Okay. It's not. So it's not localized. It's spreading. Okay. Yeah. V is going to dismiss herself and
Sure.
head up to her room.
Absolutely.
Keep smithing. I'm just going for it. I'm plating some silver.
All right. You guys silvered the weapons. There are 4 weapons worth of silvered weapons. V, essentially, you just write it off on your tab. But admittedly, silvered weapons are. Everyone, give me a history check.
Me too.
No, you know. So
Okay.
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
Give me an insight check.
Me?
Insight?
Yeah.
Oh, never mind.
Vina's giving an insight check. Everybody else is giving a history check. Holy shit. Okay.
I'm rolling shit now.
I'm
God
rolling good
damn
now.
it. Now when it's scary for me.
Okay, 9 insight. V, just kind of in the momentary panic. You're not really thinking too straight. Caligus, you're focusing on smithing, hot fire, things going bang. You got other shit on your mind.
True.
Bud and Iris, You clock that, especially Bud as a hunter and Iris as somebody from the Fey Court. Silvering weapons is not typically like you can use like money silver, but money silver is typically mixed with like silver, zinc, other alloys and metals. To silver a weapon, you need pure silver. Not
Well, I thought
cheap.
that's what we were getting.
Yeah, no,
To be
that is
honest.
what you're getting.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is it represents a significant financial amount of money
And I had enough of it.
and just to have it casually delivered at a note. It's weird that somebody would have this much silver this readily available.
Well, she's rich, so.
So did I see her excuse herself?
Yeah,
Can I go follow her?
sure.
Okay. I'm gonna be
V1
like stealthy about this though, so she doesn't know that I'm following her.
Sure. Mika, give me a stealth check. V, give me a perception check.
Okay. No.
Trying to remember what my I forgot my dexterity is very high. That's a
Fuck.
Sure. V, you're kind of you're hyperventilating a little bit. You're bringing it back down.
I was
Iris,
almost gonna say that I needed to roll at disadvantage, but I think this is fine.
Iris, you're pretty good at this kind of thing typically. Iris, how are you sneaking into V's room? Are you like pressed up against the door, or?
So I'm gonna get all tiny first of all. So I'm
Ooh,
even
that's right, fairy teeny tiny.
teeny tiny little fairy. And so she's not hearing any footsteps. I'm kind of like hovering. I'm floating,
Sure,
keeping
just
very close to the wall.
doing the
very
Scooby
low.
Doo but midair.
Very, very low to the ground, hovering at a wall, going into her room.
Okay, you kind of dip into it's not a crack, but you make yourself small enough to slip under the door frame and kind of just flutter up into the rafters. V, what does Iris see as she flutters up there?
Oh, I think. I think what happens is you see, so as soon as Vina is in her room and like her door is closed, and she thinks she's alone, right? You can kind of like see like the panic on her face, like, oh, I fucked up, right? And you can see from like where the cut is, right? That this paleness just spreads like up her arm and then is spreading all like her skin is just pale white, like not just like pale skin, like it's white skin, and then it gets up to like her face and her eyes shift over just pure white. Like you can barely, like there's barely any iris there, it's completely clouded over, you can't see a pupil.
Sorry.
And then you see her hair that was this super dark like dark hair just turn like stark white. And then her ears, which were human ears, kind of get a little bit of a point to them. And her eyes, with that like clouded over white, there's just this dark, like, I don't know, smudgy black kind of just around it, right? And you don't see someone that looks like Vina anymore.
Does Iris understand what's happening here? Does she clock this?
Roll me a history check. Or if you have a different check you'd like to give, just justify it to me.
Okay, never mind. That should be fine. I wasn't sure. I was trying to make sure that wasn't wisdom because I wasn't sure if my healing potion.
Okay.
That is a 17.
17. On a 17 history check, you being from the Feywild don't necessarily clock precisely what this creature is.
What the fuck?
But you do clock that maybe V has a form or a different form, or maybe V is hiding her identity, or maybe something is happening. V looks very panicked. But like, yeah, it just seems like you're from the Fae. People have different forms. Not that big of a deal. Kind of weird
Mm.
she's freaking out about it. Like
Okay.
you can fucking get tiny and big at a fucking drop of the hat. Like, what's the big deal?
Okay. Iris is gonna kind of mind her own business and just quietly leave the room and not say a word of this to anybody. She will
Sure.
wait for a time to talk with her about this. Now is not that time.
Sure, you zip away. No problem.
I would assume I have something to help.
V, it's gonna subside in about 2 minutes.
Okay, cool.
Like,
Sounds good.
yeah. And
Do I
you
need to
go back-
take any damage for that?
Nope, you go back to being
Oh,
V.
okay, cool. Sick.
Sneaky, sneaky.
I'll put an image in the chat for people.
All right. And that is where we're gonna end off session tonight.
Right when Brandon gets back.
That's right. Fuck that guy.
Yeah, Brandon,
Um,
you're gonna need to watch the end of that, by the way.
Or we tell him.
What
You
the fuck
found
happened?
it.
Explain, explain,
Um,
explain.
If I gather things correctly, Corvina is a changeling.
Oh yeah.
Here you go.
Ren.
That's what. It's
Okay.
a file name.
I'm
But
terrified.
anyway.
I'm terrified.
Yep. That's what she looks like.
That's
I
what we found
mean-
out. That's what Iris found out.
Uh huh.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, still hot goth GF, but
Yeah. Just different.
but yeah, no. So yeah, Chelsea, a 5 on a sleight of hand check.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
Yep. And
Uh,
I totally forgot that was. I'm like, oh shit.
Yep.
Fuck.
But yeah, questions, comments, major moral dilemmas, guys.
How do we solve world hunger?
Great question. Transportation is going to be a key, and then finding a way to store things long term, like a vacuum sealing train car would be great.
Idiot.
Yeah,
If
eat
you're homeless,
food.
just get a home.
All right, guys. So real quick, I do graduate this week, Wednesday, and I start police work Sunday, and I'll be on dog watch.